A very good morning to each one present here. I, Varsha Singh, is going to present my in-house training on the topic Art Integrated Across Curriculum. Now, as the name suggests, first we will try to find out what is art. I am definitely sure each one of us sitting here has got some own definition about art. But let us see a formal definition, or you can say meaning of the word art. What is art? The term arts is derived from a Latin word art, meaning ability or skills. Art is a universal form of communication and creative expression. It is often a language that expresses our experiences, our perception of the world around us in varied form. So, to understand this meaning more better and clearly, we need to see what are the different types of art. There are three forms of art. First, visual art. Second, performing art. And third, literary art. If we further see the classification, visual art comprises of the artwork which we can see as a spectator and visualize it. Examples are painting, sculpture, craft, filmmaking, etc. Next category is performing art. This category comprises of the different art forms which can be performed in front of the audience. Example, dance, drama, music, puppetry, etc. Next is literary art, which comprises of story and poetry. This is the classification of art. We can understand by taking few examples, like for example, sculptures. English teachers sitting over here use different sculptures to show the famous poet and Greek philosophers in their lessons. Next, we can use puppetry in our daily teaching, especially in primary classes, to explain an entire chapter, and which can be performed by students to make it a very joyful learning. Now, I would like you to take you further to the next word, that is, what is integration? Integration is the process of blending two or more substances so that they merge with each other seamlessly. So, with combining these two words, art and integration together, we come up with a new term, art integration. Art integration, it is an approach to teaching in which students construct and demonstrate understanding through an art form. I repeat, it is an approach to teaching in which students demonstrate their understanding through art forms. Here, the students engage in creative process and connect an art form and another subject area and meet involving objectives in both. Now, I would like to draw your attention towards the picture on the slide. The words like theatre, music, dance, and visual art are showing the flow of arts in different forms. The next topic on the slide says, why are we talking about art integration today? The main reason why we are talking about art integration at school level, at college level, or even at university level is because of NCF 2005. NCF, which is being prepared by NCRT, says that art, both visual and performing, needs to become an important component of learning. In the curriculum, especially in primary level, children must develop skills and abilities in these areas and not treat these areas mere entertaining fringes. Art must become an important tool in teaching learning process, and so NCF, that is National Curriculum Framework, has placed stress upon including art as a pedagogical tool in our teaching and learning process to make it a joyful learning and experience for our students. Let us see what are the objectives behind doing this. NCF has to say that it helps in reducing the curriculum burden that we have been facing as in teachers or students have been facing from a long period of time. And it is helping in making the learning more joyful and meaningful for the students. Next, it enables holistic development by taking care of all three domains, namely cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Here, I would like to explain with a small example. If we take any art form, no matter if it is a dance, drama, poetry, anything, that not only help us in our work models, but also helps our intellectual thinking, critical thinking, and that further leads to cognitive development. Then effective, why? Because whichever art we perform, we use our heart in planning, in portraying it and presenting it. So it touches our affective domain. And lastly, all the arts form requires performance. So that touches our psychomotor domain. Next, it enhances the skill of communication and the power of expression. This is one of the best things for our students. There are many students who are shy, who does not come up and present their idea, no matter how much intellectual, how much smart they are. So art is that area which can help them to enhance the skill of communication and to express whatever they feel and know in front of the teachers. Next, it helps the students to become more social as they can present their idea in front of others. To develop the aesthetic sense and enhance creativity among children. Art, as a powerful medium of expression, is a strong pedagogical tool. Here, we as a teacher needs to pay attention that how we can use art as a pedagogical tool. Now, let us see. CBSE has got an idea about leading to an outcome of this whole program, that is art integration, which says students in the school where art are an integral program of the academic trend to have an academic advantage over students whom that is not in the case. Here, this outcome is saying that we have seen, means CBSE has marked changes on the academic performance of the students where art was integrated before NCF or by coming of NCF in progress. Those schools have shown a remarkable academic performance when it was compared to other schools who have been working or will start working on NCF. Next, there is a deep connection in the cognitive, social and emotional development and art. So I would again like to draw your attention towards the picture in the slide. It says that how art is integrating or blending the two areas, that is curriculum and art, together very nicely and making learning a joyful experience for our dear students. Now, by understanding the outcomes and objective, let us find out how we can integrate it. So the next topic is, what is art integrated learning? We have generally heard or we have worked on the term AIL. AIL stands for Art Integrated Learning. AIL is a teaching learning model which is based on learning through the art and with the art. I repeat, it is a teaching learning model which is based on learning through the art and with the art. It is also a process when an art becomes a medium of teaching and learning and the key to understand the concepts within any subject in the curriculum and making it joyful in that manner. Now we are going to see stage-wise learning objective and few examples of how we can integrate art at different levels. Learning through the art can take place at all levels of schooling. Art-integrated learning is an experiential in nature and make all children respond with their imagination and emotional strength. The need of the children will vary with age, social context and ability. So we need to understand it by stage-wise. So the stage-wise objective and few examples will be coming up in the following slides. First, we will start with pre-primary levels, then we will move to primary level, and at the end we will see secondary level. So without further delay, let us start with primary level. Now at primary level, first we will see the objectives, why we should include art integration at pre-primary level. At this stage, children are both highly inquisitive and energetic. I'm pretty much sure all the pre-primary teachers sitting over here will agree with this statement. Creative activities such as drawing, painting, clay work, music are both appealing and energizing for the young children. At this stage, education should be through art. The objective of children participation in visual and performing art leads to number 1, to make learning joyful and engaging. Number 2, encouraging children to be aware of the environment through keen observation and exploration. Third, to promote sensitivity towards their environment, allow free emotional expressions, communication and creative involvement. Fourth, to facilitate children to express freely and spontaneously. Now I would like to explain few of the points again by giving few examples. First objective, to make learning joyful and engaging. Here pre-primary teacher can use different forms of art. It might be visual, performing or literally art to make the classroom very joyful for our students. We can also teach mathematics table by using few of the songs. We can prepare a song through which teacher can teach the tables, which is generally taught to be an rote learning thing which can be passed on to our students in a very joyful manner. Second, we can make children aware of their environment through keen observation. Like we can ask them to perform any dance form through doing different by performing different dance form by the activity they perform early morning. For example, we can simply ask them, how do you brush your teeth early morning? They can show by a small dance form or through a poetry, which will make the learning a joyful thing, and they will even learn about the environment and the observation in their surroundings. Next, the third says sensitivity about the surrounding and their emotional experiences or expressions. It is very important for each one of us sitting here as a teacher to ask our students to learn to express their feelings. We have seen this problem even at senior level, that students are aware of many things but they lack the expression power. So we can start developing this expression power among them at a very primary level, that is pre-primary, through art. And they can, as a result, they can express themselves, feel freely and spontaneously. While collecting few information, I have tried to collect few pictures which you can see over the slides here. Here, I would like to explain through again few examples which I have tried to show. First picture shows role play and puppetry, while we can see the third picture showing fingerprinting and the third picture showing origami art. And we can even include dance and music into it. Let us see by taking one example. If you look at the picture, role play by class 2, standard 2 or even 1. There is a simple activity. The boy is taking bath and the teacher wants to teach him cleanliness. And she, rather than giving us small statements that you should take bath daily, she has asked the child to perform a small dance, which he generally, each one of us has done in our own bathrooms, so that this learning experience become a joyful experience for him. And by sight, he learns the important message that cleanliness is very important for us. Next, we can see a small chef over there. Here, the teacher has tried to make the students to understand that early morning, just getting ready is not the important work. They should even look after their mothers who are engaged themselves in kitchen and preparing tiffins for them. So the child over here is trying to role play or portray his own mother early morning by getting dressed up as a chef. Now I would like to draw your attention to the third pictures where origami sheets are being used to perform different arts. Here the child is trying to make few things, like for example the picture you say traffic signals. Here pre-primary teachers will agree with me that we generally make a picture of traffic signal and we give them instructions. Now here the teacher has told to draw it through origami sheet and perform a role or you can say role play of the whole activity in front of the class, which has made this learning experience very joyful for them. And the last is fingerprinting, which each one of us has been done or been doing in our pre-primary school. So I have taken a small example from there. I hope the examples are clear to you. Any doubt, teachers? Okay. So I would like to take you to the next level, that is primary level. Now, art education at this stage needs to link with all subjects such that it becomes a tool of teaching learning concepts. It is very important for us to integrate AIL at different levels and in all the subjects so that all the subjects turn out to be an interesting subjects for our students. So the objective behind including AIL at primary level are as follows. Number 1, experience joyful eagerness to learn and learn to live in an inclusive environment. Number 2, discover the concept of mathematics and science in the world around them and to be aware of interdisciplinary connections. Third, enhance observation, curiosity, exploration, and creative and free expression. Fourth, explore and understand body movement and coordination. Fifth, develop expressive communication and critical thinking skills. Sixth, foster an inquisitive attitude towards learning and knowledge. Here again I would elaborate 2 points, like let us start from below. Foster inquisitive attitude towards learning and knowledge. If we as a teacher simply ask the students to read a chapter and we start explanation, they are hardly interested to listen to that topic. But when we try to develop this inquisitiveness by asking them to even try to make the picture given in the literature book, they will come to you and ask you questions. Ki ma'am, shall I draw a boy instead of a girl? Shall I draw a balloon instead of a ball? This is developing an inquisitiveness among them. And this will help us in making learning and knowledge both informational as well as beneficial for them. Next, we see the development of an expression of communication is very important. We have even seen this point at pre-primary level, but it has gone to a next level when we add the word critical thinking skill. Here, the child will develop a thinking skills regarding anything. For example, if we take from the science subject, if you ask a child to show the different parts of the plant, he will hardly pay attention on the board where you have drawn a beautiful diagram. But if you ask the child to draw and then go to his place and start asking, now I am asking you to label few things. Where is the leaf? Where is the stem? You will see this change. Even we can make this more interesting by asking a child to come up at the center of the class and ask the other child to attach himself as a leaf to that stem. Then we can ask the third child to come and attach himself as the stem and the leaf as a flower or a fruit. And that will be involving or engaging the entire class and making this learning experience joyful and even memorable for them. Because no matter, they might forget the labeling, but they will remember this, how they stood in front of the class and portrayed themselves as a flower or as a fruit or as a stem. And this is our motive. Now again, I have collected few pictures on the elaborating the idea of this objective. So let us go through this. At primary levels, we have seen models, story narration, toy making, craft, dance, poetry being used at different classes and in different subjects. For example, if we see the first picture, this shows a model of Pakka and Kacha house which we teach in science and EVS at primary level. And it also is, we can see a small nest where the child has tried to take this to a next level. When the teacher asked him to build a house, he made a house for the bird also. Why this was done? Because it was his observation. At his house he had seen a nest. So when the teacher asked him to prepare a house or a model of his house, he did not forget to make that nest, that house for the bird included in his house model. So that was very interesting to know when I was searching, so I added this to my slide. Next, the girl here is trying to narrate a story which is already given in her lesson or in her literature book, by not just reading out the story in front of the teacher, rather making model and narrating the entire lesson on her by her own. Third is a very attractive picture for me. Why? Because standard 3 and 5 students have tried to make a model, but this model is different. It is a toy. Now what kind of toy? We have seen at this level, students are very destructive in nature. Why? Because they are inquisitive, they are curious. As in parents, many teachers are sitting over here, are parents, and they will agree with me, whenever you give a new toy to a child, you will find first day the toy is okay, second day it is few parts are missing, and the third day it is totally gone. It will be very difficult to find each and every part and assemble it again. So here we have seen a new learning among the students. They have tried to build a small toy on their own. For example, the first picture shows a helicopter which is beautifully made by the use of waste found in our surroundings. And there are few more toys also which the child has made. Like first it has destructed it. Now by the help of its elders he has tried to build it again. So this is developing motor skill, communication skill and problem solving skill among them. Now we will move to the third level, that is secondary level. Here, as the level increases, the objective of this increases. So let us see one by one what are the objectives. During this stage, children are ready to comprehend more complex interaction between the concept and the environment. So let us see what are the objectives given below. Explore multiple perspectives of the concept and construct knowledge of the theme, subject, concept, and be aware of interdisciplinary connection. Next, develop a pluralistic approach and appreciate different possibility, promote teamwork and mutual appreciation. Third, enhance communication skill, language and problem solving skill and build sensitivity towards environment and social concern. Now this is very important at this level. When we talk about secondary level, This is very important at this stage, that we should develop this social responsibility among the students. So we will see few examples how we can develop it through art. Next, create an art and apply their artistic skill in our day-to-day activity. Fifth, learn inclusive practice of respect, care, empathy and compassion, foster socio-emotional competencies and cognitive competency. Sixth, understanding and regulate their emotion and create awareness of rich heritage and cultural diversity. I would like to explain this objective through the pictures which I have collected. Let us start with the first picture, or you can say diagram of science, where the child has labeled not only a symbol by drawing but a vein painting, we say especially. The child will take a leaf, preserve it for 20 days, and a vein formation will be very clear in that thing as the leaf will be dry. So then he will represent it and it will create a different form of light, or you can say a different form of art as well as learning in his memories and his notebook. Next, as a social science teacher, we would agree that the teacher draws the diagram of a volcano and explains the path. The same is done by the students in their notebook. But in standard 7 this year, we asked the students to make volcano in their summer vacation project work. And we were surprised that each and every child presented their own model of volcano. They have used different materials for preparing the volcano. Few have done with thermocols, few have done with clay, few have even used floor, the dough prepared by their mothers, and beautifully painted it, showing that I have done it last Sunday, so that the Sunday school was opening, so I have to prepare, and there was a shutdown in a right nearby shop, and I've prepared a volcano through that dough. And it was very beautifully, but sorry I could not preserve it, otherwise I would have presented in front of you. The next picture, the third picture, says a very social concept, and is poverty. This is a sketch presented by a standard 9 student. When I was teaching poverty in standard 9 and the class was not ready to listen that day, I just asked the student to draw whatever you feel like, or whatever you know, whatever you understand by the word poverty. And I was surprised to collect this picture. Why? The picture has a dialogue box. The child has drawn a man who is standing and writing there, or saying basically that I can't find poverty in our surrounding. But I would like to draw your attention towards the picture below. There's a small child sitting right in front of him, begging for food. And behind him there's a poor old man sitting. And this was the point where I would like to pay important or put an emphasis. Why? Because this child has smartly shown that sarcasm which he wanted to say to the teacher, but he could not say in front of me. And he has tried to make the same thing through his art form. That actually society is this, where rich people are unable to find where is poverty. If you ask the ministers, if you ask the politicians, even if you ask businessmen, they will say, where is poverty? Government is running so many schemes. They have been providing with free food, free education. Where is poverty? But actually the picture shows here where is actually poverty, where this poverty actually lies. And this was a picture which has opened my eyes, so I would like to share it with you. I hope all of you would connect with this picture.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Now, let us come to this slide, which is a small picture which shows how art can be integrated into different subjects like mathematics, science, language, environmental studies, social science, and it can be used in interdisciplinary subjects also. Here, art is used for teaching concept, art is used for learning methods, and evaluation tools for teachers. So now in the coming slides, we will see one by one how we can use art in our different subjects. So before I move to the further slide, I would like to recall the previous slide where we have talked state-wise or level-wise integration of art. That was first was pre-primary level, second was primary level, and third was secondary level. Now I am taking this session to the next thing, which will say how we can include art in different subjects. So I think each and everyone sitting over here takes different subjects. So I have tried to include all the subjects as much as possible in my slide so that I can give you few examples related to art integrated learning. So the first slide we will talk about English. Generally we have heard teachers saying, English teachers, all Hindi teachers, it is very difficult to integrate art in a language. I think most of you sitting here will agree with this statement. Yes or no? Yes. Generally. Why? Because preparing slide, even I found it very difficult to collect ideas regarding language. But it is a small effort done by me to collect few ideas and share it with my teachers so that we can know how we can include art in our language subjects even. So let us start with the first picture. I've tried to number the picture, so I will be following that number given in the slide. I hope it is visible to all, the numbering. Yes, the first picture shows how class 4 and 5 children have prepared puppets to explain their English lesson. And the teacher is sitting behind the class. There was a big picture. I could not include the entire picture. So I've just taken a small screenshot and added it to the snap of it, where it shows that the entire class is divided into different groups. The girls have made different puppets related to the different section of the chapter, and the students themselves have very nicely narrated the entire story or the entire English lesson in front of the teacher. Next, this is a picture of Standard 9. Here, English teacher has asked them to prepare an advertisement, and the children, rather than just making in their notebook, they have given an artistic outlook or view to the advertisement part. Here, they have tried to make a travel guide, tour and travel guide for the classmates. Why? Because the school has planned excursion during summer vacation, and this was the thing prepared by the students. So I've included this. And even the teacher was surprised because there was a comment written below this picture that, wow, I never thought learning could be done through art in this way. Third, this is another interesting picture. Why? Because there was a story in Standard 2 book. The story's name is The Duck and the Kangaroo. Here, the children themselves, with help of their parents, I must include this word, with help of the parents, in their annual day, portrayed the entire story in a poetic form on the stage. And it was beautifully done with a backdrop and everything presented by the student and with the help of the parents. So it was very interesting for me while I was searching ideas regarding it. Fourth, here is a practice which is done in Delhi, government schools of Delhi. Here a similar picture is being presented by me in the next slide also under Hindi. So I will talk about this here only. The fourth slide says story wall. What is this? Every day the class starts with an English chapter and the children are given 10 minutes time to prepare a storyline. The teacher takes a para oral sentence from the chapter and asks them to expand or take it to the next level by making or imagining their own story. And they have given a chance. The best stories are generally put and clubbed on the story wall. And at the end of every week, the entire story is narrated with the help of this wall and the presentation done by the students. So again, this is a very interesting thing which I found when I was searching for this. Fifth, this is the continuation of this picture. Fifth picture is the continuation of this. This is the picture of the end week session. So at end of the week, when the students are explaining the entire story using different sign language to express. This was again a very attractive thing. They have made sign language for different ideas or different persons. Like the chapter name, the chapter which they are talking about, it had a name called Victor. So they are not saying Victor, they are making we. We will stand for Victor. And then this thing includes a role play also. So Victor will come up on the stage and present his idea. So it was a very interesting thing. So I clubbed it together. Now, the sixth slide. Here, the entire lesson was made by standard 7 students in a cartoon form, or you can say in a comic book, and it was well presented by the school in their annual function in front of the stage. Why? Because the students of standard 6 had clubbed 6 stories together and made a comic book and presented the entire English 6 lessons of English subject in this comic book, which was again a very interesting example. I hope now English teachers will be getting few ideas from this big picture, or you can say club of pictures, on how we can include art in language. In continuation to this, we talked about subject Hindi. Again, Hindi, we start with the same puppetry and role play thing. The first picture is again from the Delhi school, which they are following. Every class is on every Friday. They perform this activity. They choose 2 different characters or main characters from the story and portray the main important few lines, or you can say few situations of the chapter in first picture. Second is a science class. Now again I would like to explain here, it is a science class, but why I have included it Hindi. This picture has been included in Hindi because there was a chapter which had an interrelation, or you can say connection with Hindi. So the Hindi teacher took an initiative that before starting the chapter Soil and Science, they will make whatever idea they have got about soil. And the students, few have drawn leaf, few have drawn just splash of mud. They were given a free period to present this idea on a white sheet. Each student was given a white sheet, KG sheet, and asked to show that different form of art by expressing their idea on soil. And this was carried forward by the science teacher, that how this thing would be taken to a next level in their learning, which I will show you in the next slide. Where they are making, in science I will show you how they are making this a clay model or a soil model made up of soil through this. The third, the entire poem, the poetry, or you can say kavya, is being presented or enacted by the teacher here with the help of students through different sign languages. Before speaking out the poem, they are trying to make different actions related to this, and then they are going to perform or learn the poem in Hindi. Fourth is again the continuation of English story wall. This is the story called Hindi. This chapter, there was Chinya Ka Ghosla was the chapter name, and they have well presented their idea over here. Each child preparing or presenting different form of birds, different form of nests, different form of baby birds, and presenting their idea and making their own story. And they are going to present it, and this is the picture, the continuation. Fifth slide, how they are presenting the entire story at end of the week. Last, sixth is a secondary level picture. Here, in an assembly performance, teacher with the help of students are making, or you can say preparing themselves for a very important topic of Hindi, that is Samas. The class has been divided into different groups. Students have been given Samas and Alankar. Hindi teachers will know this. The different section of students are asked to perform different activities in Samas and make the idea clear to the entire standard 9 level and 8 level. So this was a very great initiative. I have tried to get a video of it, but sorry I could not, so I have just clapped the picture and I am explaining in front of you. I hope Hindi teachers would have gotten few ideas with this. Okay. So let us move to our next slide. Next subject is mathematics. Again, maths teacher, can I get few ideas how you are including art in your subjects? Like I know in our school we are integrating art. So can I get few examples from maths teachers sitting over here? How we are including it? Any one of you, small examples maybe.
In the games period, we have to prepare the different groups, and we are asked to together, 4 together, or 5 together. Then the counting is the.
Okay, so you are talking about grouping thing,
Yeah.
and through that they can learn the numerics concept. Good. Yes, ma'am, that's a great idea. Now I have tried to collect few pictures. Now, at pre-primary level and primary level, teachers find it very difficult to make students learn about the shapes, their corners, their sides. So here, this was again an initiative taken by Delhi Government Schools of Delhi, that the children, they will not draw the thing in the notebook, they will not write, the teacher will not write on the blackboard, these are the sides, this many sides triangle has. No, they were given an open field. They have been one day earlier, they were taught about triangles, squares, rectangle, everything, and now they were given an open field to draw whichever the figure they want, and the teacher went to each and every child and asked, do you find corners? What are the corners? And this made learning actually very joyful for them. And I think it will help our children also. We can try it in our school also, this thing. Rather than just asking them to draw in their notebooks, we can one day give this field and they can practice the same. And let us record their experiences, what they felt about it. Second picture, so it is a one level higher. Here the teacher has tried to include cubes and cuboid. Here it is again a very interesting thing. Different child try to make cube and cuboid by different form. Like this picture, they have included a ball and toothpick. But I have got 4 different pictures of this. In one other picture, they have included even lollipops and made cubes in cuboid. But that was perishable, so the picture was not quite soothing, so I did not add it to my slides. Next, the students have again made clay, used clay to do the same. A third child, fourth child was saying, the child could not find clay, I think, the pudding which we actually go and search in the market. So the child has used maida, flour and suji together and knitted a dough, and with help of that he has presented this idea. Since that was a government school, so every child at his or her level had tried to make this. So this was very interesting. A small write-up was also there. So reading the things out of there. That all students tried to form or perform the art to the way they wanted to do it. So this was very interesting there. Third, again, this picture can be included in science also. Why? Because it is a new concept which is coming up there. I would like to draw your attention. Like nowadays, style, or you can say fashion, is at peak, and it is never untouched at like school levels or students' life. So this is a design shoe designing done by standard 6 students, and it was very interesting to know that they have drawn and written different formulas of mathematics. Even this thing was taken to next level when they were asked by the teachers to bring their old jeans, old rugged jeans, and to write different formulas and wear it in a casual party which was organized by the school during Children's Day. So that was again very interesting, but since the picture was not clear, I did not include it here. But it was very interesting that shoe designing was taken to another level. The students, they have entirely, their jeans were filled with different formulas or different, you can say, shapes and all, which was looking very, very stylish, I will say that. Fourth, again, this picture basically, this picture they have made jewelry designing, where they have tried to make factorization. We generally draw factorization. Maths teacher would know that clubbing formation. The same thing was done by the students too, for everything was written over there. If we enlarge this picture, we will find that. And it was continued in science also. They have drawn this at different DNA strands, designed, primary structures and all. So this was again very interesting to be noted, and it was well followed in science also. I will show you one picture in science also related to this. Fifth is a toolbox. Yes, again it has been taken from a government school. Now it is very interesting that we are very privileged that we are teaching or we are in a private school where all the facilities are available. Now the school did not have a geometry box. In standard 6, when we generally introduce the chapter topic geometry, we present entire wooden box with scales and projector and everything. Protractor, compass of a wooden thing, so that the child is aware, this is compass, this is this. The students have taken this initiative. Standard 7 students has taken this initiative for standard 5 and 6 that we will make that geometry box and give to the school so that the coming generation will get an idea which we will not get it from our teacher. Actually, the teacher discussed this. Generally, if you go to a private school, you will find there is a geometry box. We showed this as an example. So the class students took this initiative and they have made a geometry box for the coming classes. So this was again a very interesting thing where art was infused by not by the teacher but the students themselves for the coming elder, or you can say younger ones. Sixth is a memory wall, or you can say memory card. Yeah, this picture is followed in science. The students write the formula, cover it, and then application is written over here. The teacher calls the child, asks to take the formula and place it into an application. Same thing is applied in science also. Different symbols are written, pictures are there where we can use or apply it. The teacher asks the child to pick the formula or the symbol card and place it over there. So it was again a very interesting thing, and I think we can practice this even at our school. So the learning will become a little bit easy and interesting because all these things are well prepared by the students themselves. The teachers haven't prepared it. It is done by the teacher. And this shows how beautifully we can integrate art in different subjects. Next is science. Now, science pictures were very attractive, especially to me when I was just collecting the pictures. Everything looked so beautiful and so unique to me that I wish I could become a child again and do it myself for my class. Why? Because when we were studying science, we were only studying it with the focus that science is a subject which is very important and we need to study. Science for us was a book and a copy notebook and with a pen in our hand and a pencil in the book. Plus that's it, nothing else. But here, the picture of science is totally different. Especially, I was surprised to see that chemistry thing over there. Amino acid, primary, tertiary and secondary structure. I never thought it can be done in this way. It was a totally surprise for me. And this beautiful third picture I would like. DNA and RNA strands. Beautifully done, and this thing was presented by children to their biology teacher on Teachers' Day as a gift. So that was the best part which we could ever think of. And even I thought I could create something so attractive and present it to my teacher if I get a chance again. The second picture is the continuation of that Hindi topic where the teacher had asked child to the set induction was done by the Hindi teacher. Here it is taken to the next level where they are making models out of the soil. The chapter soil did not start with the soil and the topic and the layers. No, it started first with an artwork to show whatever they know about soil. Then it continued by a model making, small model, whatever they can make out of soil or mud. Now, I would go to this fourth. This is a DNA strand, structure of DNA, beautifully done by this origami seed and quilling. Again, fifth picture is also a quilling. It is a structure. Then, I think chemistry teachers might be knowing this structure. Formaldehyde, phenol formaldehyde. I think, sir, I am correct. I don't know. So that is beautifully done, and this was again a very big picture. All the different structures of amino acid was drawn and depicted in the chart papers and in the bulletin board with the help of quilling. So quilling again is an art where they have integrated it very nicely. And this was a very beautiful collection of pictures. I hope science teacher sitting here will agree with me. It was actually looking very beautifully. And a new idea and concept, like, in fact, I came to know about it. So it was very interesting for me to collect ideas and information regarding science. Now comes social science. Here we see few things which we have tried to include this year. Visual timelines, yes. Whenever it comes to history, even we as teachers say, history, how we can integrate art into history? Not possible. So we have tried this year visual timeline, and we are planning to take it to a next level next year by presenting the visual timeline in every classroom. What has been done? The timeline, the dates have been well attached with a cartoon or a character related to that event, which makes learning very interesting for the students, because again, this is a common line used by students. History, dates, teacher, impossible to learn. So this is a small initiative taken by the teacher and the students together to make history interesting as well as integrating it with art at different stages. The second picture is Interiors of Earth, which we have tried again in our summer project for standard 7, if I'm not wrong. Yes, in standard 7 we have done it. The students have prepared this model, Interiors of the Earth, and it's very beautifully done. Initially we used to do it on a chart paper, but this time we had asked them to prepare a model, and I must say each and every child presented it very beautifully. We have preserved few of the models, you can even see it in our room. It was very beautifully done by the students. And the same thing, volcanoes also. We have few volcanoes with us. Third is like English journal. Here, this child has tried to write. Actually, there is a chapter in standard 10, tourism, a topic related to tourism and geography. The child has prepared this artwork for that. The teacher has asked them to prepare one activity so that they can get marks in standard 10 for internal. So the child has presented adventure in Haridwar by collecting pictures and making a PPT out of it, which was well presented and art integrated thing shown there. Fourth is the different physical feature of India, shown again with the help of quilling and different waste material which we get at our home or in our surrounding. The entire India map and the coastal areas, Himalayas, plains and Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats have been shown a different waste materials and quilling together, and the whole physical division of India has been well presented by integrating art into it. That simply we as an SST teacher, we ask them to draw it, color it, shade it, that's it. But here we can see a best example of art integration in this. Fifth, again, this is a drainage, picture of drainage where different river courses have been shown. It is again a 3D diagram, you can say, a 3D model the child has made, again with the help of waste, cardboards and paper, and it was well presented at standard 7 level. I think this was a 7 and 8 level when I was collecting. So this is all about different art integrated in different subjects. I hope the students, the teachers sitting over here have got few ideas with this few examples presented here, that how we can integrate art. Now, moving to the next level, but before that I would like to ask, any doubt from you all? I'm moving section wise, so the level section is already over, stage wise, where we saw primary, pre-primary and secondary. Then this level we saw, this stage we saw how we can integrate art in different subjects. So I have tried to touch both the language subject, that is English, Hindi. Then we have seen maths, science and social science. So any doubt? So, since there is no doubt, so I am moving further. Now, here is the third stage of my presentation where I will be explaining one example where I'm going to try to show you how art is being integrated. That one topic is being integrated with art in different subjects. So the topic here is interdisciplinary approach in AI. While designing activities, the possibilities to connect concepts across different subjects should be addressed. In interlinking subjects and activities, the learning outcomes can also be clubbed. For example, two or more than two learnings outcomes can be addressed through single art activities. This interdisciplinary approach can take place across the disciplines as well as levels. So we have already seen the levels, primary, pre-primary and secondary. Now I'm going to take a small example and going to explain this topic, that is interdisciplinary approach in AIS. So here comes the picture. Now, I would wait for 1 minute and give you 1 minute, that 1 minute of mine to think what I'm going to explain over here. Just think, what do you find? First look at the pictures nicely and think what I will be saying, like what I'm going to present out of these pictures. Because this picture as a teacher, it looks very simple to us. So how with this simple picture we are going to integrate art under one topic in 5 different subjects. Okay, I think everyone has got few ideas, collected few ideas. Let us start. Even you can add to it, okay? Because it is totally my understanding and my thing, and I would welcome any more idea if it is added to it. Okay, so we will start with this. A teacher, like I would say I thought of this, and as an English teacher, we can start a simple thing. In standard, like I'm going to use this idea in standard 6 basically or 7, because all the concept which I'm going to talk will be dealing with that level. Standard 6 teacher can I ask either an English teacher or a Hindi teacher to write a para or a story or a poetry on Sweet Home. But before that, in set induction, what we can do, any teacher, either whether it be a science teacher, maths teacher, social science teacher, or any language teacher. First thing, draw a picture of your dream house. Set induction is done. That next period, an English teacher enters, look at the pictures, appreciate the pictures and the drawings, and ask, can you prepare a poetry on it? Can you write a small para on your house? It will be interesting. It can be either language, Hindi or English. We can take it to the next level when it comes to science. Science teacher can ask what type of house it is, or different soil can be connected to this. Even as a social science teacher, we can connect many ideas, like we can take to a next level by saying ki soil geology, since this picture was presented, so how you can, even we can present it community house, like community ownership. There's a concept in social science, ownership, property, community or private property, like this. That concept can be included. Maths teacher. Now that there's something interesting for maths teacher. They can simply tell the students to find out the area and what the amount of paint you will require to color that area. Find the cost of that painting. And such things can be clubbed under one topic. So we can plan this in a different topic. Like for this, again, teachers need to sit together and plan. Like all standard 6 teachers or 7 teachers, we can plan when a science teacher is planning to teach them soil, when maths teacher is planning to teach them surface area and all. We can club and period together and we can give this concept, and this will be the time when a child will come and say, hearing every subject, every teacher is teaching same thing together. So it will again be a very interesting thing and will be a concrete learning for our students. I hope this idea was clear to all of you.
Yes. Very good idea. Yes.
And even I want anyone can add to this idea of mine. If like you all have thought about it for a minute, so if any new idea which came across your mind right now, you can add it to it.
When I was in the last 5 to 6 years, I went to JPS. There was a training on this. So when I came back from there, then in 7th standard, 2017 or 16, I have taken this project. And Chacha Nehru, I have taken the topic. Chacha Nehru topic was taken, and Chacha Nehru's English, I asked the children to write the essay or anything, 10 lines on it. And on Hindi, Chacha Nehru's have many poems on it. So Hindi poem was there.
Okay.
And for maths, where the universities are there you can take out the university, the number of students, and you can draw a bar graph on it.
Oh, nice.
And where the universities are there, where his universities or where he has done any, wherever he has done any reports and all those things, wherever, that goes to social studies part. And science part, the place where he was born or wherever he has visited, that place must be having some of the science universities. So you find out the science universities. So all the topics were related to that chapter.
Okay.
And I have the file till now that
I see. Yes, a huge round of applause. I think again a very good example for this topic, interdisciplinary. So we in our own school we have got 2 ideas which we can start working on. So as I have explained in the picture, same thing is being written over here. How as an individual teacher we can start this work. The first step says selection of a topic theme, drawing upon the previous knowledge of the students, which I have asked. First thing, draw a sweet house, sweet home, or your dream house. So that was the first stage. Second stage, provide creative inquiry opportunities for the hands-on learning to the students. Here, the role of different subject teachers come in. They can ask them to present their ideas through different form of arts related to their subject. Next, assessment of students for subject and art involved. Now here assessment will not carry any marks as such. Assessment over here means to know what the child has done. For as a teacher, for us, let us go, move, take a round and find out what they have done. Assess whether they have worked, whether they have understood the topic, whether they have understood how to integrate their hands-on learning. This is the assessment thing part of it. And the last stage says reflection on the new learning of the subjects using an art form by the students. Yes, we can take it to the next level by giving a good or a very valuable feedback to the students and try to continue this process by adding more topics and more lessons to this idea, which will further lead to this application jump. Let us see this. How the total application, what will be the final outcome, I must say. Stage 1 will be a concrete experience where learner needs to participate actively in the experience by feeling it with all 5 senses. 5 senses we know. The idea is to immerse in the experience and learning. Stage 2, that is reflective observation. The learners reflect at the situation before forming any opinion. The learners must reflect upon the present by connecting it to his past experience. Here, I had asked you to think, same way we will ask the students to think and recall their past experiences and then to connect so that they can reflect. Reflective observation focuses on observing and perceiving. Third stage says abstract conceptualization, where the learner creates the theory to explain his experiences. In this stage, the learner gathers and analyzes the information and draw conclusions. Sometimes it may challenge the pre-existing concept. This focus on learning by thinking. Now this is very interesting. When we conceptualize anything, there are periods or there are times when I as a student also felt that my previous knowledge was not complete, that was wrong. But it is very important at each stage of our life that we think upon, collect the past experiences, correct it and move further to form a concrete, from abstract to a concrete learning. Experimentation. This is the final stage where the learner applies what he has learned while learning by doing. And here the purpose is solved. If a child performs an activity or an art and frame a concept or conceptualize any topic that will be definitely in concrete idea in his mind and which will stay for a longer period of time. So, the next stage of my presentation talks, or it is very useful for us as a teacher. Now, at first level, I have talked about stages. Then I have integrated art in different subjects. Then I have integrated art at different subjects together under one topic. Now, this is for us. That is lesson planning. Now we have talked a lot about art integration. The final learning for us as a teacher is how to design an art integrated lesson. So there are 5 stages. Let us go one by one. First, I would be explaining when I will be moving to the further slide. So just look at this so that I will be passing it on the next slide. So I shall proceed. First, examine art standards and non-art standard subjects to determine which standard appears to work together naturally. This is a very important thing. Yes, I have given many examples, but there are lessons, there are chapters in history where we find it very difficult to form or integrate it with art. So we keep them as SS standards, social science standards here, which means it is difficult to directly relate it to art. Here, the first thing that is visual art standard is those chapters, or you can say those subjects which we can easily frame an artwork. Okay. Second is where we find it difficult, and the third is CCSS writing standard, where art can be blended in form of literary art form, which we have seen 3 examples. So this way we can categorize different subjects under strands or standards to understand how much or what level of art integration can be done by us. Next, to ensure rigorous pull-out, the standards identified for the use in art integrated lessons. Here are given few examples if you read that how we can infuse a rigorous pull-out means regular working and channelizing at different levels so that the continuation of the chapter with art integration continues. Third, determine final student's outcome for demonstration of learning. Design a rubric for final outcome. This is very important for us as a teacher. Whatever we are planning, we need to find its outcome so that our further learning or planning will be dependent on this outcome. So here we can do, again, this is very interesting. Here the outcome we should not measure in the form of assessment or anything like marks. We can make it in a different artistic way. The teacher has taken this initiative and done it in this manner to see the progress report and to express the same in front of students. Fourth, design lesson considering final outcome rubrics and standard. And this is required for the further connection of the chapters. Once the first topic is over, we can put this 4th stage into the picture, which is designing a lesson, but taking the lesson to the further extent where we can consider the final outcome, rubrics and standards for it. And the last stage says revise the rubrics and review standard alignment. And finally, we are done with the lesson planning, a short but a concrete plan for art integrated learning. Now, assessment in AIL. Now, before I proceed in this, I would like to ask one question. Is it necessary to apply assessment in AIL? Yes or no? Simple answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. You are saying yes. Anyone who is saying no? No, actually, yes. It is required. Why? Because if we are planning, we are working, even our students are working. So, we should assess their work. But this assessment should be totally different for the general assessment which we do. We will not put grades. We will not give marks. We will not appreciate the toppers over here. Rather, we should appreciate each and every work done by the students, which will help in making learning very joyful for our students. So just let us go through the points so that we can get an idea about it. AIL as a pedagogical provides opportunity and space for assessment as learning, assessment for learning, and assessment of learning. Here, assessment is an ongoing cyclic process. It does not stop. After one topic we include, we take it to the next level, to the another topic. That begins with the identification of clear learning outcomes and can occur at various points within the teaching learning process. Since the medium of assessment is art, the facilitator can access both verbal and non-verbal expression of the students. Assessment technique in AIL is non-judgmental, non-comparative, non-competitive, and non-threatening. Now this line is very important. Yes, it's a strong message for us as a teacher. The assessment technique of AIL is not judgmental. It is not judgmental. We will not sit and judge. We will not compare it. We will not ask students to compete in that. And this is the best part of AIL assessment. Here are different tools we can use. Simple AI based on based assessment promotes task-based performance. I repeat, it promotes task-based performance. A person who performs the task has achieved the goal. As simple as that. And therefore, it empowers the facilitator with a variety of tools and techniques to assess. The suggested tools and techniques are any art activity including drawing, painting, singing, role play, puppetry, etc. Portfolios with samples of finished artwork, even undefined artwork. Descriptive and anecdotal recording of all over progress of children, cognitive, socio-economic and creative development. Next, periodic based display exhibit in classroom and corridors by the students. This was being used by the They are displaying it on a regular basis and then revising it or reviewing it at the weekends. Stories, poetry, letters, posters and story illustration based on theme, project done in the group, etc. Now, moving towards the end of the topic, I would like to draw your attention to two previous training which we have already been a part of. There were two trainings. One was 21st century skill and the other was multiple intelligence. So here come few pictures related to it, that how art is not only integrating in different subjects and different subjects together, it is also well integrated by different topics. The picture says itself, art integration requires students' creativity, and we know creativity is a major concern, four major concern of 21st century skills, 4 C's. Creativity is linked to the problem solving at 21st century scale. Communication, critical thinking, collaboration and center is creativity. And where does this creativity come? In a child. By using and applying this art integration in different subjects at different levels, we can achieve this creativity. We as a teacher can experience or see that creativity among our students. Next, same goes with multiple intelligence. Art integration addresses multiple intelligence. Here we see music, dance, drama, theatre not only develop intrapersonal skills but interpersonal skills where they express themselves, they express their feelings and feel very free to express their own creativity which is hidden inside us in a public manner and to get a better idea. So, now I would like to summarize my whole topic through a small summary chart where I tried to recollect all the things which we have discussed till now in a small manner. Art integrated learning, what it is, why integration of art and how to integrate art. So with this, I would like to conclude. Thank you. So let us go through this summary chart in detail that will help us in recapitulation of the topics which we have done, and we can revise as we are very good at revising with our students. Art integrated learning. What is art? Art integrated activities to be across subjects and classes. Visual and performing arts that we have seen in the second slide, the different classification of art. The first is from the first slide. Next, learner-centered pedagogy, where we have seen the objectives and outcome. It is learner-centered. It is not teacher-centered topic. Why? Because in art integration, we are asking the child to show his creativity, to express himself freely. So it is a learner-centered pedagogy. Last, holistic and experiential learning. Here we have seen how holistic development helps us to encounter the three main domains: cognitive, affective and psychomotors. We have even seen examples through which we touched all three domains. And it is an experiential learning. Why? Because the child does perform the experiment, think over it, try to solve the problem. Like the best example was the toy which they made, standard 3 and 4, in pre-primary and primary level, the example which I have shown. This shows that it is an experiential learning. Now, why integration of art? Why NCF has asked us to integrate art? The main purpose was to make the burden of the curriculum, which is already there in all CBSE schools, to lessen that burden and to make the learning more meaningful and joyful. So let us summarize that point. Opportunity for developing socio-personal qualities through group activities, better learning outcomes, activity constructed in an inclusive setup, and 21st century skills, analytical, critical thinking, communication, creativity and innovation. The previous pictures which we have seen, 21st century skills, are well integrated with art in different forms. It might be visual art, it might be performing art, etc. like dance, drama, anything where a child can express his expression freely and communicate his idea freely. This is the reason why art integration is required or were asked by the NCF 2005 to be included at school level. How to integrate art? We have seen numerous examples where we have tried to integrate art. First, stages wise, first level was pre-primary, primary and secondary. With many examples we have tried and even seen the objectives, what were the outcomes we can get as a result. Then we saw at different subjects, starting from the English subject, we proceeded to Hindi, both the language subjects where it was difficult, but we find many examples related to it. Then we moved on to mathematics, science and social science, where we see a very fine work of art integration at different level. Even we saw examples at +2 level, like DNA and RNA structures of DNA and RNA structures drawn so nicely on shawl or a sari work that was beautifully depicted by the students. Then we moved on to the topic of interdisciplinary AIL projects, where we saw how one single topic was chosen and it was well integrated in different subjects like science, social science, mathematics, English and Hindi together, and we gave an idea. One idea was even presented by a teacher, Malki teacher, I must name her, well presented, even she included or added an idea to that project. So, how to integrate art? Cognitive, affective and psychomotor domains involves simultaneously. Free expression, very necessary. This is our target. Our students should learn to express themselves freely. Joyful learning. All together, as a teacher when I was working on this project, I felt a very joyful experience. I am pretty much sure even our students feel the same. Why? Because they get a chance to express themselves freely, to say, to show what is hidden inside them, the innate qualities which are generally we neglect as a teacher. Why? Because our focus is syllabus, our curriculum. Here is the area, here we get the time where we can ask and show that students and feel this joyful learning as a teacher as well as a student. Next, School-based assessment. They have nicely told that there are several assessments done in school. Let us not just assess students on this topic by giving them marks or grade. Rather than we should just appreciate their artwork, and the assessment will be done by that. The appreciation, the way of appreciation will be an assessment for them. The last line here is very important. Why? Because it summarizes the whole idea of NCF, NCRT together by saying process is important than product. Here in the entire session we have talked about the process and we are waiting for the final product or as a result which we will see in our future generation when they go through such learning and teaching pattern. And we will definitely find a change in the students in coming year if we include this in our day-to-day teaching and make art integration a pedagogical tool in our teaching learning process. Thank you. Any doubts? Any doubts? Yeah. Anyone? Thank you.